Greetings, the Astro 30 here yet again, and welcome back to AEL. Thank you for joining me. Now, I wasn't really going to make a video on this because it's such a simple thing. It's not really that interesting, but I thought, considering this is part of my AEL 2026 Amplifier build project,
well, I figured, what the hell?
I'll make a video anyway. So, this is a headphone adapter board, so that connects from the power amplifier output, drops it down through an LPAD attenuator, and then drives the headphones. So I will show you the schematic in just a moment, but first we'll get a PCB out of the bag so we can have a good look at it. So there it is there. It's got a copper fill on the top here as a ground plane. Not that it really needs one, it could have just had small routes, but yeah, it's easier to use a copper fill. So this is the bottom, fairly thick traces to handle the current. Basically it just passes the input signal here on this side from the amplifier's outputs through the switch, DP/DT switch inside the headphone socket here, out to the output terminals here for left and right, or when the headphone is inserted, it goes through the LPAD attenuation, etc., and then comes out the headphone socket itself. So it's a fairly simple design, but I have put on the bottom of this board not suitable for bridged amplifiers. Why? Because this requires the ground of the amplifier, or the halfway voltage point, and bridged amplifiers do not have a ground reference on their speaker output. So if you were to use this circuit on a bridged amplifier, you are running the risk of damaging the amplifier. So yeah, you'd have to use a totally different circuit to use headphones on a bridged amp. But anyway, I digress. So I am going to assemble this, and I probably won't do it in time lapse because there's only like 6, 8, 9 components. But we'll have a quick look at the schematic, and this is based on Elliott Sound Products headphone adapter for power amplifiers. So we'll be looking at basically his website as I'm explaining it. And I think I have done a video on that previously on this channel, but I can't remember because I've done like 150, 160 videos since then. But just for completeness, I'll go through it again, and then we'll start assembling it.
Okay, so this is a look at Rod's schematic from the soundau.com Project 100. I'll post the link in the description if you want to have a good read of it. But it's a very simple circuit. This is the circuit I'm using up here. It uses a DP/DT switch, which I'm actually using from the headphone socket directly, which is not a good idea considering that the headphone socket's DP/DT switch at best could handle about 1 amp continuous. But amplifier manufacturers have been using the switch inside the headphone socket to disconnect the power amps from the speaker output for years. They did change it back in the 90s and started using dedicated headphone amplifiers instead. But what this consists of is R1, R3 and R2. Now R2 is a fixed value of 120 ohms. That sets the output impedance for the headphones to 120 ohms. R1 and R2 here form an LPAD attenuator. The value of R1 is based on the power output of the amplifier, which is related to this table down here. And we've got all the powers into 8 ohms of 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. Now, because my amplifier is a 50 watt amplifier, roughly RMS, into 8 ohms, well, there's nothing in here in between 40 and 65 watts. So for R1, I've chosen a value of 330 ohm, and the power rating that it needs to be is between 0.54 watts and 1 watt respectively. So I'm using a 1 watt resistor. R3 here would be a 33 ohm resistor, and the rough output impedance would be 121 ohms. So there's not much really to talk about this particular schematic, as it is fairly simple. This resistor here is not technically needed, and it's not actually said in the text anywhere what the purpose of R3 is. That's a look at the schematic. Not much more to talk about on that. As I said, I linked this in the description if you want to have a good look at it. But let's get back to doing something more constructive.
Okay, so that was a look at the schematic. So I've got some extra hardware components here and passive resistors. These are 330 ohm 1 watts. That's for part of the L-pad attenuator. Got a 3-pin header here, P5603 Ultronics catalogue. A 2-way header, P5602 catalogue. And the headphone socket itself, which is P0, I think that's P0076A. It's just one of these type of headphone sockets, DPT switched, and which are separate from the actual left, right and ground inputs. So it's got a separate switch in there, DPDT, which isn't actually connected to the left and right inputs. And it's also a fully insulated socket. So I'm going to get this out of the bag, so I want to see if it's going to fit my footprint, which it should, because I've used the same footprint for the last couple of years and haven't had a problem. But this is a JLC PCB, so excuse me, I don't know if it's going to fit properly, but I'll soon find out. I'm just going to put the hardware onto the socket so I don't lose it. Yeah, watch me do up a nut. Okay. Make sure the pins are not bent, which they're not. Don't tell me it doesn't fit. Tell me it doesn't fit without telling me it doesn't fit. Oh, it does, it's just tight. Yeah, that's perfect. It's just a little bit tight getting in there. I should have actually made the cutouts for the holes here about 0.1 of a millimeter wider in that direction, the Y direction. But no, it still fits. That's good. So that can come out now, if I can get it out. He says, hopefully. There we go. So yeah, now I guess I'll get the other resistors I need to complete the L-pad attenuator plus the 120 ohm output load impedance, and yeah, I'll figure out a way of testing it. Okay, there it is there, all assembled. It only took about 6 minutes, but I did speed the footage up by at least 3 times, otherwise it would have been a little bit too long to go through and watch. So yeah, that's why I decided to do that, but that turned out quite well. I'm happy with how that looks. These 2 holes at the front here are for little angle brackets to come off of to mount to the sub panel inside the amplifier, so it's got screwed in 2 places. Stops this assembly from rotating around over time. So we're not just relying on the nut to hold the thing square or stop it from twisting around. Which over time, even if you Loctite this, I guess, but over time it will eventually work itself loose if there's no other mechanical mounting to it to keep it, you know, central. So now I need to make up some leads with the headers here, so I can actually connect it to the amplifier, because this connector comes off of the power supply's speaker output point, and this one goes off to the speaker output sockets. So I'm going to have to make up some leads so I can connect ground, right, left, and also the output ground, left, not ground but left and right outputs. Actually no, I don't need this connector at the moment, do I? I'm not going to be powering speakers yet. That can be done during the final assembly. Anyway, I just want to test that this thing works, which it should. Alright, so let me get to making up the cable. Right, that's the connector made up. I made a mistake with one of the crimps, had to recrimp it, but that's okay. So, let's make sure I've got the wires the correct way around. Yes, I have. Alright, so I really need to check, if I can get it undone, the continuity from the wire end to the plug end. So I'll need to strip back the ends of the wires here. I'll need to anyway for connecting it up to test it on the power amplifier. So just strip that one and that one over here. Okay, so I need a multimeter. And seeing as the leads are connected up to the one on the desk here, I'll use that instead. Alright, so grab my multimeter leads. Okay, so black to black, continuous, red to red, continuous, and ground, green to green, continuous. Excellent, we've got good continuity, so that means that this should function. So what I'm going to do is clean up the desk of all the crap, and I'm going to get set up now to hook this up to the amplifier's outputs. I don't know whether I'll use the preamp as well. Might as well. And just test that it's passing the signal. I guess I really should do one extra continuity test before I do anything, and that is make sure that we've got continuity between the left input and the left output and right input and right output respectively when there's nothing plugged in, as well as this ground is actually connected to where it needs to be. These screws are grounded, so we've got continuity there. So we should have continuity to the ground of the socket, which we do. Okay, so from the left input to the left output, it is continuous, so it's just moving around on me. And it should not be connected to any of these 1 watt resistors, which it's not. So right output, right input, continuous. And we should not have continuity there, which we don't. So I'll plug this in, so now the headphones would be active. We should have no continuity to the right output, which we don't, but it should be connected to one end of a 1 watt resistor, which it is. Same for the right, the left. That's isolated and should be connected to that 1 watt resistor. So yes, so far that is correct. So now I can hook this up to the amplifier and test it. Alright, well I just spent the last half an hour messing around trying to figure out why the preamp wasn't working correctly, which I know it did, but I was getting an audio signal on both channels when just plugged into 1. I couldn't figure out why. Yeah, it helps if the power supply was set to 31 volts at the top there, not 12 as it was. So anyway, I've got the headphones connected and there is a signal going through it. You probably can't hear it, but I can. But if I turn the volume up, you should be able to hear that now. So I'll bring the headphones closer to the mic. And it is coming out evenly out of both channels. So I'm just going to put the volume back down and put these on. I'm going to play with the balance. Yeah, it buggers off to the left and buggers off to the right. So everything is wired correctly and the adapter is working fine. And well, I don't really need to test this any further. So I'm probably going to leave this video here, and now that I know that it is working properly, I was chasing my tail trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Yeah, wrong power supply voltage, idiot. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to leave this here, and this will be picked up again when I've got a rack case and start actually assembling the thing. I've got to get a power transformer yet. I've also got to fit the new relay to the power supply board, which I haven't done yet, but I'll get to that shortly. Anyway, I'll catch you next time. I'm the Astro 30, and if you enjoyed this video, please remember to go down below, like, comment and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, this is the Astro 30 saying see ya, thanks for watching, have a great day.